Angelika, welcome to AIM10X Digital. Great seeing you, great having you here. I'm super excited about today's conversation. But let's start off, with an introduction and also, not just about you, but also about Pepsi.
Great, Stefan, thank you. And I'm also very excited again to be in this conference, which is a very great event. So my name is Angelika Kipor, and I'm leading a global integrated business planning program. I'm actually coming from the supply chain experience and very excited about ability to lift integrated business planning above the supply chain and make it as a business process. So PepsiCo is evolving in this very, very quickly. And as you know, we started engaging with you just introduction 4 years ago, and then starting to do something actively a little bit more than 2 years, and we're already rapidly growing.
No, that's awesome. Now, IBP or integrated business planning means something else to a lot of different people. What does it mean to you and to PepsiCo?
That's exactly the case. And every time I talk with the peer companies, I'm also asking what IBP means for you. Right. First of all, we reinforce business component here. So we're actually lifting this above the supply chain classical demand and supply reconciliation type of activities. And we put it as a business decision-making activities, which is shifting all the focus. Ultimately, with that, GM is the owner of this process. And IBP meant to be integrated end-to-end, meaning actually also including upstream and downstream, and of course the functional different functions within the business, and providing the decision makers, GMs or presidents, data and technology-enabled insights to make better decisions. Specifically, this is being relevant with the volatile environment we're all in. So, in our configuration, IBP is covering short-term, middle-term, and long-term, and they are also connected. So there is a different set of decisions needs to be made on the short-term and in the middle-term, and then, of course, on the long-term. And we're also reinforcing the importance of more forward-looking decision-making nowadays as well.
No, I like that. And also, Angelika, what I liked about your vision, right, is not a supply chain capability. It's actually a decision-making capability for actually the GM of a market or, the GM of a brand. So that's exciting. Now, you mentioned, we got in touch 4 years ago. We started 2 years ago. We did a proof of value in Benelux. Then we said, okay, let's actually test this out. We did pilots in Iberia and in Turkey. On top of that, we built a global template, and now we're going into the biggest market, United States, snacks and beverages. What are some of the learnings from those pilots and developing the global templates? And can you share some more information on that?
Right, indeed. The time is flying fast, and there is a lot of activities with this timing. So in terms of learnings, first of all, the approach. We did a pilot with Iberia. And we purposely structured this that we do development of the processes together with the pilot and the pilot market. And the idea behind this that we really would like to capture in our North Star processes business relevance. And to your point, in terms of business planning process, it elevates the critical questions to be addressed in terms of what it is the dilemmas are GMs facing and how we can help them to actually resolve those dilemmas. So that was pretty much the idea, and then based on this idea, we developed the playbooks and processes together with Iberia and pilot. Then we moved to the Turkey, which is actually our first component of the global build. So we're building the global solutions now based on these processes which we developed and implementing this in Turkey, but it meant to be the components of the rollouts. One of our biggest learning is that the data. And it comes across the board with many companies. Data is not an easy thing, specifically with integrated business planning scope, which meant to be integrating with the different systems, different functions, and also customers and suppliers. So putting the data right and bringing this upfront is a critical success factor. And this is exactly the way how we're structuring our journey for next markets as well. Another very important topic is about education. As you said, IBP meant different for different people, also internally. So we do invest enough time in education of the people, of trainings, of explaining, the components of the processes, the components of the technology, how they all tie together, and how they enable their business decisions. So that's another very important component, which we're pretty much starting right away with the markets.
Now, very interesting. Thanks for sharing. Now, multiple companies, they think about their transformation and they then need to make a decision. Do I first take my biggest market and go there? Or do I take, for instance, two smaller markets, get those learnings and then go to the big market? You decided for the latter with Iberia and Turkey before you actually get to the US. Why is that and what drove that decision?
Right. Okay. So first of all, again, we leverage the very deep collaboration with the markets to co-create and build a solution. In terms of the solution, I mean not only technology. Solution, I mean also the processes, the operating model, and learn from this. So actually, this is much easier to do on the smaller markets because the complexity is less, and also the kind of risk factor is different as well. So it's very hard to risk this way with the biggest markets, of course, with the beginning. Then this was taken as a learn and adapt approach. While going to the big markets right after this, the idea is that we also want to accelerate the value generation. And to accelerate the value generation, we need to make this transformation where the biggest part of the business sits. And this is the North America markets, of course, and then other big markets in play as well.
No, absolutely. What I like about it, and you talked about that, it's not the supply chain capability. The commercial is involved, we have supply chain involved, and there's finance involved. And ultimately, we have to facilitate, better decisions for the GM of the market. Now, in Iberian and Turkey, what have some feedback that you've received from those functions, and can you share a little bit more on that?
Right. Yes. First of all, in Iberia, which has already like 1 year life, we just celebrated 1 year life, and the constant feedback which we are getting is that actually it makes much more simpler and easier the processes and organization. So I'm very proud that Iberia BU take the ownership of actually reduce and eliminate all duplicative processes. So they do everything within the IBP cadence of the meetings. So they make all the decisions there, which is getting very transparent and visible for all functions pretty much. And trade-offs related to these decisions are also visible and seen. So they get to one plan, meaning that it's one aligned set of numbers in terms of demand signal, and then the financial reconciliation of these implications of those, and then it's getting very quickly translated to the actions. So before that, it was a little bit of the plan with the supply chain, a little bit plan of the commercial, a little bit of the plan of the components of the plan with the finance. Some of them was reconciled, some of them was less reconciled. And then it was a lot of confusions in the business. So simplifying, getting to one set of number, eliminating a discussion about, once decisions are made, of course, about this, and then switching quickly to execution is helping to enable broader business value, not only classical supply chain KPIs as well, like service level, for example, and forecast accuracy, which are both growing, but more broadly, how we can capture more demand and how we can deliver the product towards this demand signal in the most effective way.
Yeah, no, I love that. The other thing that I liked about some of the learnings was we said, okay, there is an initial scope, but then we came to the conclusion that we actually wanted to expand the scope in the areas of upstream, so connecting that with suppliers, but also bringing ESG data, whether it's water or electricity or waste and so forth, onto the decision-making, IBP level as well. Why was that? And again, I would love to hear more.
Right, great. And we are very, very excited about these next stages of the capability we're going to be enabling. Initially, it always has been in the scope, to be honest. So we defined the scope that we want to have end-to-end connectivity, meaning broader end-to-end connectivity, not only within the fence of the company or walls of the company, but actually upstreams and downstreams. This one kind of initial concept. Another concept was in terms of business decision making, and I come to the ESG as data a bit later. So in terms of end-to-end connectivity, we decided that we focus first connecting the data within the company, which is complicated enough with our scale of the business. And then, not later, because it's pretty much right after, we start building these upstreams and downstreams capabilities. And this is exactly the next phase, which we're going to be enabling with the online help on that one. In terms of sustainability, first of all, it is a big company strategic focus, while this capability is just getting developed. And because IBP is the process which is enabling GMs to make the right decisions for the business, and one of the critical parameters is improving on the sustainability, it needs to be embedded. And currently we have a lot of KPIs measuring the progress on this one, and there is a very exciting progress on this one. But we want to be forward-looking as well, that when we provide to the business leaders this capability, they can make better decisions, and then this can help accelerate our sustainability goals delivery.
Totally. No, I really, really like that. I also like that we sort of continue to build together and to continue to innovate, because that's exactly the spirit of the partnership that we kicked off, 2 years ago. Now, another question, which is not so much related to technology, more about organization. Mm-hmm. Moving into the US, how do we set up the organization for success?
Right. First of all, in terms of organization, there is two critical components. Again, like in terms of, operating model, we did define that IBP, it needs to be a functional agnostic type of things. So we're actually elevating this to the GM leadership group of people mainly. So it becoming one of the leaders on the table with the GM, helping to drive these cross-functional decisions and dilemmas, more importantly. And this operating model is already implemented in smaller markets. Well, Iberia it's implemented, Turkey is in the process of getting there. And this is paying off because this is bringing this more unbiased nature to the decision making. This one. Secondly, making work it for markets, we are applying the principle of crawl, walk, run. Meaning that we start engaging with the business much earlier than the active phase of the implementation. We are seeding and sharing our playbooks. We are discussing about the process gaps. We're discussing about operating model gaps. And we're actually helping business to start doing what they can do. So they are fixing the operating model. They are trying to embed the right process steps as far as they can get to, depending on the maturity. And then we start bringing the program with a lot of data component and analytical component and more acceleration of the processes and capability builds. So that's pretty much the configuration. So we are starting North America beverage business currently as an active phase, but we're actually in touch with them for the past 2 years in terms of kind of helping them to progress to the certain level where we can kick off the program, make it fast.
Excellent. Now, last question, Angelika, before we run out of time. What is it that you find exciting when it comes to the O9 product roadmap and some of the innovation that we are driving?
Right. I mean, first of all, what I feel and see exciting that O9 is a platform and it's meant to be the platform. And as you know, one of our discussions was about this open-ended type of things that we can collaborate together of building capabilities, leveraging O9 knowledge, and then also leveraging our in-house capabilities that we can blend this together and leverage O9 setup and workflows to put it all under one umbrella. Then in terms of capabilities, which we just discussed, and this is what I would encourage, and I, very enthusiastic about what you're saying, digitizing more the knowledge and kind of helping us as a customers to get this knowledge faster and get access to this knowledge and learning faster. This is the right thing to do, and I'm very excited that you're doing it and just looking forward for this. And another thing is in terms of constant development and specifically how we can bring more intelligence to the root cause analysis and post-mortem type of analysis and help enable this more intelligent continuous improvement process. I think this is very exciting innovations which you're doing, and clearly looking forward to get access to this as well.
No, absolutely. And you'll be one of the first because we are already doing so much co-innovation. And that's also, what we find important in a partnership. And, we love to be partners with PepsiCo. Angelika, thanks for being, at MTNX Digital again. And I hope you can come back next year when we can again share the learnings of what we are doing together. But really, really great having you.
Thank you again, and indeed looking forward to. Great pleasure.
Amazing. Thanks.
Thank you.